Do you want to know how to have a change of heart as a parent? Because that's very important in raising your children. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about you, the parent, and how to help yourself have a change of heart. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a true story about a parent who did have a change of heart, and then I'm going to be talking about key things that you can do to facilitate a change of heart in yourself. Once upon a time, there was a woman, and this woman was very strong-willed. In fact, this woman was the type of woman that was vicious if she wanted to be, in the words that she would say. With her parents, when she was young, she had the type of relationship where there were constant power struggles because she was so strong-willed. Her parents told her that she was smart, but also that she was strong-willed, and she didn't know if the two went together or if one was good or one was bad. She didn't know, but in the end, she knew that she kept damaging the relationship with her parents. In fact, at one point, she fixed the relationship pretty well by learning to say okay and be okay, because a neighbor told her that maybe she should try saying okay and being okay to fix the relationship with her parents. And it did work. It was incredible. But then she hit adulthood and felt like she shouldn't have to say okay and be okay to her parents or anybody else. So then she started saying things in relationships which sometimes came across as pretty rude. Well, her immaturity was something that led her to believe that she had to get her own way or speak her mind all the time. But then there was a point when she yelled at her mother. Her mom got emotional about something and started to get upset at her, and she thought it was unjust. And so she started yelling at her mother. We're talking two adults yelling at each other. And this woman, after yelling at her mother, making her mother cry and feel bad, looked at herself and thought, what have I become? That woman was me. I looked at myself and thought, what have I become? What did I just do? How could I yell at my mother? How could I lose control like that? I used to be able to say okay and be okay. What's wrong with me now? This person had to actually learn then with their own children how to not lose control. And then I started taking in other people's children, doing treatment foster care. I couldn't yell at them. I couldn't touch them. They weren't mine. And I had to help them have therapeutic adjustments in my home, which meant it needed to feel calm and safe all the time. I needed to change. So what was I going to do? Well, the first thing I decided that I needed to do was figure out who I was. Was I a person that got angry? Was I just one of those people that could take control? Or was there more to me than that? Because who you are in the family does make a difference. In fact, I even ended up writing a book about you figuring out who you are in the family. This book, Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success, is all about a family who has a lot of contention and some dysfunction because they don't understand who they are. Now, I know that sounds weird, like, what do you mean? Who takes out the trash and who goes to work and who stays home with the kids? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Those are just responsibilities. Anyone can go to work. Anyone can stay home with the kids. But not anyone can be mother. No one can replace the bond and attachment that mother has with her children. A mother is the heart and hearthstone of her family. She has a tether that hooks her heart to her children's heart forever. And when they are young, she can guide them literally anywhere just because of the pull of her heart. So if she doesn't watch herself, she could very easily pull them in the wrong direction. If she gets overwhelmed, if she starts losing focus of who she is supposed to be to them. Mother has to remember her influence and who she is to her children. Father is someone different. He is a protector, a provider for his family. Even if he isn't at work, he has to decide, how do I provide for my family? How do I protect my family? You protect your family by pointing them back toward mother, pointing their hearts toward the mother, by not being selfish, by showing your children the best way to spend their time because they look to dad for that. So if he's always on a device, then the children are not protected because you're pointing them toward devices. His language, his conduct, his respect of mother, all of those things are things that protect the children in their future relationships and in the home right then. There's also, of course, spiritual protection, which is another great protection that he has with his children. Knowing who you are. What does it mean to be a 7-year-old son or a 15-year-old daughter? What does it mean? You've got to figure that out. So you start with who you are. That's where I started. Who am I? Once I determined who I was, that made it so that I could give myself permission to change. And this was really important. You have to tell yourself, you know what do I see about me? What do I not like? I'm going to write those things down, and I'm going to give myself permission to not be those things anymore, to not do those actions anymore. So that's what I did. But I didn't just stop there. I also gave myself skills so that I could develop new habits. See, every single habit that you have has a trigger, okay? So it has something that happens right before you take action. So if my habit was anger, then there was a thought that preceded that I needed to change. The thought I was having was a thought like, you're just trying to control me, or you're too emotional. Something that was negative, but the type of thought I needed to change it with was a productive thought. Something like, maybe I'm not understanding you and I can take some more time to understand you, or how are you feeling, right? In my mind, I'm thinking, how is this other person feeling right now? Maybe I need to be more aware of that instead of just thinking about myself. So I changed my thoughts to be more charitable thoughts on purpose. Maybe I wasn't 100% charitable at the beginning. Really, I think I was probably a pretty charitable person, but I just decided these are the thoughts I'm going to have. And I gave myself behaviors too that I could use. Now I want to share some of the behaviors that I taught myself so that I could maintain a change of heart. But before I do, click the subscribe button now. So this channel has videos that are meant to help you change your habits and to have the unity in your family that you hope for. So when you're subscribed to the channel, then you will be able to see my videos when you're on YouTube. So this will open a door to you so that you will be able to learn more about governing yourself. So there were a lot of different skills that I decided to teach myself, and actually all of those skills are in this book right here, Parenting a House United. And you can get that at teachingselfgovernment.com. So if you want to go there, you can get this Parenting a House United book. There are 4 basic skills that I was going to teach myself and my children, including things like accepting a no answer. When you accept a no answer, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and drop the subject. So you see how that might apply to a child or maybe 2 adults communicating with each other. But what about when my child is just doing something I don't like? Well, that's a no answer. I can't control what somebody else does. I might need to do some teaching and fix the situation or correct them. But first I have to accept the no answer that I don't get to control the other person, which means I've got to keep calm and say, okay, this is happening, and then drop the subject. And then after that, I'll be prepared to be detached enough from the situation that I can now go do a teaching and not become emotional. So that was how I used the 4 basic skills to help me. I use them for myself as well as for my children and my foster children. I also have in the book Parenting a House United my teaching styles that I used for the children. And these were scripts that I could use to help solve the problems so that I wouldn't lose control. These scripts helped me not say the other things that might pop into my head first. Remember, it's all about the triggers, okay? So you get to choose your triggers. I know people don't think they can choose their triggers, but you can. In fact, if you have an existing trigger that is negative, you absolutely can take that trigger and turn it into a positive trigger. So maybe you are trying to not eat sugar, okay? And you feel this trigger, which is a craving or a thought about having something with sugar. So you can train yourself that every time you think about sugar to think, I'm not going to have sugar today. I am going to feel the power that comes from telling that craving no. That is a productive thought. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck having the sugar. You need to have a dialogue that you have going on inside yourself, but also a dialogue that you have with other people to help you stay your course with your heart change. When you have a change of heart, you care about other people. You care about connecting with the other people. You listen to the other people more. You're more patient. You are okay with waiting for something to change in yourself and in somebody else, because we don't all change instantly. When a person has a change of heart, they recognize the cause and effect in their circumstances and they analyze themselves. They have a knowledge of their own behaviors and their own thoughts and how those things relate to their actions, their feelings, and their relationships. And they choose to become the person they ought to be. But it really does start with you wanting to be who you ought to become. Have you ever shot a gun before? So our family was raised shooting guns because, well, we live in the Mountain West and that's just what people do. We hunt and fish and things. So if you've ever shot a gun, you know that there's the part that's the closest to your eye. That is the back sight. And then there's the part out on the end of the gun or down the shaft of the gun a little bit. That is the front sight. Now normally your back sight, or the one that's close to you, is shaped like a U, okay? And then your front sight is shaped like a little dot. And in order to hit your target, you have to align your U with the little point that you want to hit. Just like if you want to change something about you, you have to want what you ought to be. And when you hook those things together in an alignment, you become a different person. You need to deliberately decide to have a change of heart. If you need to forgive someone, then tell yourself, you know what? I got to let that go. I got to drop the subject. There's another part about having a heart change that I think is worth mentioning. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a religious person, a person of faith, and I pray. If I need help dropping the subject, I pray. I ask God to teach me. I ask Him to help me. And sometimes, in fact, many times, I give it to Him because He'll take it. That is one of the beauties of God and His hand in our lives. So if you are a praying person or a person of faith, then don't forget that turning toward truth, toward God, and toward the truths that He has established always help you decrease your selfishness, which is usually what you're holding on to when you can't have a change of heart. And then you become a better version of you. But get the words you need too. Get the help you need as well. Now I've got a gift for you. This should hopefully help you with some of your habit training, especially as it relates to calmness. So I have something on my website, my teachingselfgovernment.com website, called the Calm Parenting Toolkit. And I would like to give it to you for free. So if you click on the link in the description below this video right now that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit, then you will get the Teaching Self-Government Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. I want everybody to have this so that they can start down the road of calmness and of self-government. It is the perfect first step towards self-government. Truly, our world needs calmness. Our world needs people who have had a heart change. And when one person changes a heart, it truly does change the world. So when you have your own heart change, your families will change, your neighborhood will change, your church congregations will change, your nations will change. That is what is required, and it starts with the parents, because if parents have a heart change, then the children will, because of the boomerang effect, have a heart change too. So click on the link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit now, and I'll see you there.